In the start of this week's Parsha, we're told about a woman who gives birth, either to a male or to a female child, and we're told that as a result of the childbirth, the woman enters into a state which is called tum'ah. The word tum'ah is one of these words which are difficult to translate into any language, including English. The best we can do is to call it ritual impurity. But something is missing from that type of definition. Childbirth then apparently creates a situation of tum'ah. Afterwards, we're told that this new mother needs to bring a couple of different offerings, and at that point, she returns back to this state of tahara, of purity. But along the way, one of the offerings she needs to bring is an offering which is called a sin offering. And that's completely perplexing, because what sin did this new mother do? What's she guilty of? And moreover, it says afterwards, when she brings these offerings, at that point she achieves atonement. So part of the problem we're going to have is, just like tum'ah is a difficult word to translate, so is the word chet, or for that matter, chatat. Because the word sin has a certain connotation to it. In Hebrew, there's 3 different types of sins. There's chet, avon, and pesha. Chet really means an accidental sin. Chet, the word is used in terms of missing something, missing a target. Avon is deliberate sin. Pesha is a sin which is done with rebellious intent. So for this woman to bring, again, to call it a sin offering may be inappropriate. But nonetheless, what did she miss? What don't we understand? Why is there a need for atonement? One of the answers which is offered, and this is found in the commentary of Rabbeinu Bachaya, I think he's the first one. He says that the sin offering over here is connected to something else completely. But before I cite the Rabbeinu Bachaya, I want to cite a passage in the Talmud. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai is asked by his students that question: why does this woman need to bring a sin offering? And he says that perhaps this new mother, while she was giving birth, in the process of birth, screamed out in pain and cursed and said that she never wants to be intimate with her husband again. And that would create something which would be a false vow, because as soon as the pain passes and time goes on and time heals, so then she'll forget about this vow. So what's strange about this answer is not every woman is going to have that type of experience. So why should every woman have to bring that kind of an offering? Moreover, if somebody makes a vow and doesn't keep a vow, there are laws on the books on how to deal with this. Which brings us back to Rabbeinu Bachaya. Rabbeinu Bachaya says that this woman didn't do any sin whatsoever. But there was another sin that took place a long, long time ago, which is actually the source for there to be a painful childbirth. And of course I'm talking about Eve. Eve sinned by virtue of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The Torah says that as a punishment, childbirth would be painful. So it would seem to be, and again, this is Rabbeinu Bachaya's insight, that once this woman experiences this pain, then we can admit she may say something, but it's the very pain is the situation. It's the problem is that childbirth has pain to it. The truth is, raising children has pain to it. And maybe that is not necessarily connected to Eve. But the sin over here, which is being connected to this new mother, according to Rabbeinu Bachaya, is that sin at the dawn of history. Which means we have a world with pain, but we have also a world with something else. And that is a world with death. Because it's the other thing that entered into the world at that time. The Baal HaTurim notes that the separation initially between this new mother and her husband will be for 7 days, and he says that the Torah says that. And he says, just like an act of mourning. This child was just born, why is there mourning? And this may connect to what we saw from Rabbeinu Bachaya. Because this child is being brought into a world where there is death. Which means that sin at the dawn of history of Adam and Eve still has repercussions for us today. And even when a new child is brought into the world, on the one hand, the mother may have pain. On the other hand, this child may be destined for death. Of course, we pray for a time that there will be no death. And we pray for a time that there will be no pain. But in the interim, the Torah saw this wonderful, positive, happy time of bringing a child into the world, and to remember that the world that the child's being born into is still not perfect.